Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. My name's Brian. And for this episode, I am just doing sort of a collection update kind of thing. I've got a variety of things to talk about. Some 4Ks, Arrow Video, 88 Films, Mill Creek, some various things here. So let's get into this. I do love that Arrow Video does a lot of interesting things with their high-end releases. They do really nice special editions, and sometimes they are not available in the States, so you have to order them. In this case, I ordered it from Diabolic DVD, which of course I always recommend folks in the States order your imports through Diabolic. You can also try Orbit DVD if you like, but Diabolic is my preferred place to pre-order these. So I ordered because they put it out, and because at the time this movie was a gigantic deal. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Kevin Reynolds film from 1991. Seeing it if I can remember my years right. Yes, 1991. And it was just one of those movies you could not get away from in 1991 when I was dating myself here, when I was in high school. And the song, the Bryan Adams song, just everywhere, just constantly on rotation. But I enjoyed the film a lot. I was a big fan of Costner at that time, as was most of America. And so it was a big hit. But, it was also sort of a weird follow-up for me to Die Hard, because Alan Rickman was back as the villain in this one. You have an incredible supporting cast as well, that I really, really dug. But, this is a really nice 4K. That supporting cast, of course, includes Morgan Freeman, Christian Slater, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. So this is one of those really nice hardbox knockable 4Ks. This is the UK version, as you can see from the little 12 certificate on the front, and it comes with just the 4K. So obviously, it has the Blu-ray as well. No, wait, how does this work? No, I'm wrong. It's just a 4K. Sorry. So this is just a 4K, and it has a lot of stuff on it, and it looks really good, and it comes with a beautiful book. Again, this is not a booklet. There's a poster, but there's this beautiful book that comes with it. It's a it's a big mainstream movie. It's a movie that I hadn't thought of in a long time, and I think that's part of the reason I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get a 4K of that. And it looks great. So you have brand new 4K restorations of both the theatrical and extended cuts from the original negatives by Arrow Films. Both presentations of both cuts in Dolby Vision HDR, HDR10 compatible. And then all kinds of features, I think a lot of which are ported over from the various special editions of the movie on, I believe, Blu-ray and DVD over the years, but it's a lot of great stuff. This is of the period when studios were really dumping some resources into, their releases and getting, so you have Costner and Kevin Reynolds on a commentary, which I think is great because they're both filmmakers, and it's really wonderful to hear them talk about their memories of the process of making this film and how difficult it was, and it's great stuff. So anyway, beautiful presentation. I had to pick up Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves on 4K. Then this one I haven't only just dipped into a little bit. This is Reservoir Dogs on 4K. This is the Lionsgate 4K. I will say that the reviews that have come out are right on par with what I was noticing, which is that this looks great. this Blu-ray looks fantastic, and I was very happy to see it look so good. A movie that's meant a lot to me for a long time, and it doesn't have quite as much of the features that I remember from some of the editions, but it has everything that's been part of the Lionsgate versions. Don't quote me on that. I'm way out here on a limb, but it looks great, and it was cheap. It was in the $12 or $13 range. Definitely worth it for that price, especially considering how good it looks. So that's Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, a classic. I don't know what you need me to add about Reservoir Dogs. Truly one of the great films of the last, 40 years. Good stuff. Then we have, from 88 Films, the 4K version of Drive. And I know you're saying Drive. Oh, I love that Ryan Gosling movie. No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the Kadeem Hardison, Mark Dacascos, Brittany Murphy movie, Drive, from, I believe, 1995? 97, sorry. And this movie is a blast. This has come out on MVD Blu-ray, but now we have this lovely 4K version. There's Mark Dacascos, and it looks really, really good. And the packaging is really nice from 88 Films. And this one, just to explain, Fast and Furious action flick that combines the superhero film with the cop buddy movie in a high-octane chase feature populated with explosive Shaw Brothers-style martial arts set pieces in a bombastically entertaining slice of 90s fun. When Special Agent Toby Wong Dacascos is fitted with an advanced bio device giving him superhuman powers, he fears that he and the new technology will be exploited for ill gain. When the Chinese government takes back control of Hong Kong, fleeing to San Francisco, he plans to sell the device to a company in Los Angeles, but when he teams up with a down-on-his-luck singer, Malik, that's Kadeem Hardison, he finds himself being pursued by ruthless assassin Madison and his band of mercenaries. Like a mashup of RoboCop, Iron Man, and Lethal Weapon with added kung fu, this unashamed hybrid genre piece will keep you hooked with its thrill-a-minute pace and fabulous science fiction premise. Agreed. It is an absolute blast, and Dacascos is a great martial artist, and the action sequences are fantastic. It's really, really well done, and as such has become a cult item over the years. So really nice to see this get a 4K release. It has the extended director's cut, 118 minutes in 2.35:1 from a brand new 4K scan of the original camera negative. And it also has the original cut that is not in 4K with an alternate musical score. Ports over the commentary with director Steve Wang, fight choreographer Kiyoshi Sakamoto, and stars Mark Dacascos and Kadeem Hardison. Highway to Nowhere, Jason Tobin and Drive, the Force Behind the Storm documentary, very cool. 6 deleted scenes, interview gallery with the cast, director, and crew, including stars Mark Dacascos and Kadeem Hardison, director Steve Wang, second unit director Wyatt Weed, and stunt coordinator Koichi Sakamoto. Reversible artwork, very cool stuff. So this is a really nice release of this film from 88 Films. So that's a 4K. And then on Blu-ray, we have No Escape. This is from Unearthed Films. I believe this came out from, I want to say, Umbrella maybe? But this is a stateside release from MVD Visual and Unearthed Films. And it is, or Unearthed Classics, I guess it's called. It is a great Martin Campbell film. It's one of the great prison movies of all time. It is about an island prison. No guards, no walls, as it says there. Ray Liotta in one of my favorite Ray Liotta roles. This is a future prison. The year is 2022. Oh, wait, what? It's now. Anyway, it also stars Kevin Dillon and, of course, Ernie Hudson as well. But it is Lance Henriksen, Kevin J. O'Connor, Michael Lerner. It's a great prison movie. The year is 2022. John Robbins a formal Marine captain has been sentenced for assassinating his commanding officer and is banished to the secret and remote island prison run by the warden. That's Michael Lerner, which I love. In this prison of the future, inhabited by society's most violent and feared criminals, Robbins is left to the mercy of the elements and his fellow man. He finds the island divided into two camps: the outsiders, led by the brutal and bloodthirsty Merrick, that's Stuart Wilson, he's very good as well, and the insiders, led by the strong-willed, benevolent father, that's Lance Henriksen, and his followers, Hankins and Casey. That's Kevin Dillon and Ernie Hudson. Robbins doesn't care to join either. His one aim is to break free of the island from which there is no escape. To aid him, he starts a powerful and destructive steals a powerful and destructive weapon from the outsiders, sparking off a major war between the two encampments. Now, bloody battle and the brutality of hand-to-hand combat will take many lives before Robbins can think of freedom again. It's great. It's a really great movie. Underrated, had been off Blu-ray for a long time. And I just love it. I really think it's one of the great Liotta performances from this period. And then you have Lance Henriksen, you have Ernie Hudson and Kevin Dillon and Michael Lerner. I can't get over that. I love Michael Lerner. I always love to see him show up in small bit parts, but sometimes he gets a bigger role like this. You can kind of see him there as the warden. And yeah, so this is just a gem for me, underrated and underloved. Produced by Galen Hurd, directed by Martin Campbell. This disc includes Survival of the Fittest, Directing No Escape, a new interview with filmmaker Martin Campbell. Welcome to the Future Sci-Fi Worlds of Galen Hurd, a new interview with producer Galen Hurd. Penal Colony, Writing No Escape, a new interview with co-writer Joel Gross. Making of No Escape, vintage featurette, alternate intro, etc., etc. So this has got a slipcase, and I don't think the artwork is not reversible. But regardless, I'm a huge fan, and I do think this one is worth picking up if you like a good prison movie, you like a good Ray Liotta movie, whatever you like in terms of action cinema. No Escape delivers, I think. So anyway, that is No Escape from MVD Visual Unearthed Classics. And then one more from MVD is this really, really sweet documentary called Old Friends, a Dogumentary. The paw-inspiring tale of the Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. And this is a tough one for me not to get emotional about because I'm a very doggy type person. Had dogs my whole life. Have gone through 3 dogs in the last 15 years. And it's always an emotional thing when the dogs get older. You know, it's just part of, having pets is taking care of them. They get older. Eventually they pass. And so that's really hard for me. Seeing old dogs is sometimes hard for me, especially old dogs at, for instance, a rescue shelter because they're less likely to be adopted. And I know that I'm guilty of this because the last dog we adopted was 2 years old, which is a little older than I think even some people. They want puppies, and I get it. You want an undamaged or whatever, a dog that you can screw up yourself, I guess, in terms of raising it. Anyway, so this is a really sweet documentary about the most beloved animal sanctuary in the world, the Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And it says, from their humble beginnings as a small backyard sanctuary, we follow founders Zena and Michael Goodwin, their amazing staff, and the gang of 100-plus senior pooches as they grow and settle into a brand new 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. You'll meet the dogs and the people who fostered them and gave them a reason to wag their tails It's a tale of compassion and commitment where dog love knows no bounds, and as Xena likes to say, the sky is the limit. Old Friends, a documentary, a film about a place where love never grows old. So an incredibly sweet movie. I was really moved by it. And if this is your, somebody that's not a big Blu-ray person, I mean, this is on DVD as well. It's probably streaming. I haven't looked into that, but this is the kind of movie you can get for a dog person that, they will definitely appreciate, as I did. It has some nice features, the ribbon cutting, the geezer parade, Friend Like That music video, Friend Like That original demo. Nice. That's a nice little song in the movie. Gorman gets an Old Friends tattoo, Q&A at the Old Friends a documentary world premiere, Q&A with Xena and Michael Goodwin after streaming premiere. Oh, so it is available, obviously streaming. Debbie Sanford interview, Indiegogo promo video, a whole bunch of other stuff there. But a really nice release from MVD Visual, and a movie that I wouldn't have heard of if not for them. So I do recommend it, as I said, for dog people. It's really, really sweet and very charming. Powerful stuff. So that's Old Friends, a documentary. And then I've got just a few Mill Creek releases that I just got. We have The Black Dahlia, Brian De Palma's film, starring Josh Hartnett, Scarlett Johansson, Aaron Eckhart, and Hilary Swank. And this is from 2000 and... When did he make this? I'll be darned. 2005, that makes sense. A much maligned film in his filmography, and I do think coming back to it in recent years, I have noticed that I like it more than I did then. It is, of course, based on one of the most notorious unsolved murders in California history, and it's from the acclaimed director of Scarface and the author of LA Confidential. So this is based on the book by James Ellroy about two ambitious cops, Lee Blanchard, Aaron Eckhart, and Bucky Bleichert. Josh Hartnett investigate the shocking murder of an aspiring young starlet with a corpse so mutilated that photos are kept from the public. The case becomes an obsession for the men, and their lives begin to unravel. Blanchard's relationships with his new girlfriend, Kay, Scarlett Johansson, deteriorates, and Bleichert finds himself drawn to the enigmatic Madeline, Hilary Swank, a wealthy woman with a dark and twisted connection to the victim. It's a bare bones release, unfortunately, but there is 1080p transfer of the movie, and these tend to look fine. These are from the studio. Typically, this is a Universal movie. Universal takes pretty good care of their masters, so there's that. Then we have, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Basketball from the director of Naked Gun, as you can see, and starring the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Two schmoes that invent a whole new type of basketball game that's sort of a combination of basketball and baseball. This one, no, does not include any features. I thought one of these included some features, but it is directed by David Zucker and Robert Lokash. No, sorry, just by Zucker. Lokash is one of the screenwriters. Okay, so starring Trey Parker and Matt Stone, there's a hilarious comedy about two guys who invent a game in their driveway that quickly becomes a national obsession when childhood friends Joe Cooper and Doug Raymer are challenged to a pickup basketball game. They propose a new sport combining basketball and baseball. As the ridiculous game unexpectedly becomes a hit, the friends are suddenly faced with a greedy businessman who has plans of his own. So it's a really silly sort of sports movie, rise and fall, ridiculous, spoofy thing. But I do think it's underrated and underseen at this time, and is definitely funny stuff. Definitely makes me laugh every time I've seen it. And so nice to have a new Blu-ray of Basketball. Then we have The Paper. This is a really good one. This one I'm really excited about. This is Ron Howard's film from, I believe, 1994, all about, as you can tell, a newspaper and the sort of goings on at the paper with the various members of the staff who are played, as you can see, by a wonderful cast, including Michael Keaton in one of my favorite roles from him, Glenn Close, Marissa Tomei, Randy Quaid, and Robert Duvall. And it's just a really solid newspaper movie and one of my favorite Ron Howard films. One of the best things he ever did. Star-studded cast in this stop-the-presses comedy that brings the fast-paced, cutthroat, frequently hilarious world of newspaper journalism vividly to life. It's editorial bedlam during the course of one hectic 24-hour period at the New York Sun. In order to make the morning edition and scoop the competition, Henry Hackett, Michael Keaton, must race against the clock to expose a major scandal or two innocent men will go to prison. Thwarting him at every turn is his ambitious managing editor, Glenn Close, who seems more concerned with staying on budget and then printing the truth. At the same time, Hackett's wife, Marissa Tomei, is about to give birth to their first child, and she's pressuring him to take a cushier, less demanding position with a rival newspaper. Meanwhile, facing their own private demons are columnist Dan McDougall, Randy Quaid, and senior editor Bernie White, Robert Duvall. Also featuring Catherine O'Hara, Jason Alexander, and Jason Robards in headline-grabbing performances. Really great stuff. This has all new interviews with director Ron Howard and writers David Koepp and Stephen Koepp, who are well-known screenwriters in the Hollywood community, and I do think this is among my favorites of the scripts they worked on, although a lot of David Koepp stuff would be more genre-leaning stuff. But definitely a nice release of the paper and has the retro VHS cover. And then we have Shadowlands, which also has the retro VHS. This is with Anthony Hopkins and Deborah Winger, based on a true story. This is directed by Richard Attenborough, yes. Based on the true story of C.S. Lewis, Anthony Hopkins, world-renowned writer and professor, unmarried, he leads a gentleman's life filled by intellectual pursuits, remaining untouched by any great passion until he meets Joy Gresham, Deborah Winger. Joy is a feisty, abrasive New York divorcee whose sharp-edged, no-nonsense attitude takes Lewis by surprise. Bursting unexpectedly into Lewis's world, Joy shocks his associates and awakens him to deep emotions he has written about but never experienced. Slowly, he opens his heart to this woman, and their romance shatters the walls of his cloistered world. But life is made up of delicate balances, and Lewis must confront a terrible truth that a heart awakened to great love is also open to great pain. C.S. Lewis, of course, wrote Alice in Wonderland, so it's a true story of his romance. And I haven't seen this one in years, but I do remember liking it very much and it being very well reviewed. And both the performances of Hopkins and Deborah Winger were, at the forefront of its praise. So new Blu-ray of this in the retro cover, very nice. And then last but not least, we have Sequest, the complete series. This, of course, executive produced by Steven Spielberg, starring Roy Scheider. And this was a show that I do remember enjoying in the 90s. It says it ran from 93 to 95. And the cast includes Peter DeLuise, Michael Ironside, Ted Raimi. I'm recognizing some of these faces, but not able to identify them. But anyway, so this has new interviews and featurettes with the series creator, directors, and crew, and deleted scenes as well. So this is nice. This is a really nice looking new set that I am excited to dive into. Big old box set. It's a 10-disc set. So if you're picking this up, you're getting the entire series on 10 discs. And I do remember digging it a lot. And Roy Scheider, of course, I was, already a big fan of from Jaws. And so seeing him in another sort of water-based thing was exciting, especially because it was like sort of a futuristic type deal. And, I love submarines and sea exploration and all that stuff. That was actually one of my early, pursuits as a kid. I thought about me being a marine biologist or something like that. So anyway, you can see there's maybe some Star Trek looking similarities, and not just the way that the show looks, but perhaps in other ways. But very excited to check out Sequest on Blu-ray from Mill Creek. So that will do it for this collection update. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.